Advanced welding basics. What is a multi-pass weld? A multi-pass weld uses multiple layers to create a strong weld on thicker materials. Why is pre-weld cleaning important? Cleaning removes dirt and oils, helping the weld stick better. What is spatter in welding? Spatter is the small droplets of molten metal that's scattered during welding. What is a filler rod? A filler rod is a metal stick added to the weld for extra strength. Why is heat control important in welding? Too much heat can warp the metal, while too little won't melt it enough to join properly. Welding positions. What is a flat position weld? It's when the welder works on a flat horizontal surface. What is an overhead weld? It's a weld done from underneath, so the welder is working against gravity. What is a vertical weld? A vertical weld is done on a vertical surface from top to bottom or bottom to top. What is a horizontal weld? A weld done on a horizontal surface where the metal pieces are parallel to the ground. Which welding position is the easiest? The flat position is generally the easiest for beginners. Welding defects and fixes. What causes cracks in a weld? Cracks can happen if the metal cools too quickly or the weld is too brittle. How do you avoid porosity in welding? By cleaning the metal and avoiding moisture in the welding area. What is undercut in welding? An undercut is a groove along the weld caused by too much heat. What causes weld distortion? Too much heat can make the metal warp or bend. How can you prevent a cold lap? By making sure the heat is strong enough to penetrate both pieces of metal. Welding tools. What is a chipping hammer used for in welding? To remove slag from the weld after it cools. Why do welders use wire brushes? To clean the metal surface before and after welding. What is an angle grinder? A tool used to smooth metal surfaces or remove excess material. What is a welding clamp? A tool that holds metal pieces in place while welding. What is a tungsten electrode? A non-consumable electrode used in TIG welding. Why is measuring metal thickness important in welding? Well, it's to determine the amount of heat needed and the type of weld required. So what is a weld gauge? It's a tool used to measure the size of a weld. Now, how can you inspect a weld for strength? By using visual inspection or testing techniques like X-ray or ultrasonic tests. What is destructive testing? It's testing a weld by breaking it to see how strong it is. And finally, what is non-destructive testing? It's testing a weld without damaging it, like with X-rays or dye penetrant. What is shielding gas? It's the gas that protects the weld from contaminants in the air. Why is argon used in TIG welding? Well, argon helps create a stable arc and prevents oxidation. What is a gas cylinder? It's a container that holds gases like argon or carbon dioxide for welding. Why is carbon dioxide used in MIG welding? Carbon dioxide is affordable and works well for welding thick steel. And finally, what is back purging in welding? It's using gas on the backside of a weld to prevent oxidation. Why is it important to choose the right electrode? Different electrodes work better for specific metals and welding types. What is tacking in welding? It's temporarily joining metal pieces before making the final weld. Why should metals be dry before welding? Moisture can cause porosity in the weld, weakening it. What is a welding positioner? It's a tool that holds and rotates metal pieces for easier welding. And why is edge preparation important? It helps ensure a smooth, strong weld joint. What does root pass mean? It's the first layer of weld applied in a multi-pass weld. What is a cover pass? The final pass in a multi-layer weld that covers and seals the joint. Why is temperature control important for weld quality? Consistent temperature prevents defects like cracking or warping. What is a fillet weld? A weld that joins two pieces of metal at a right angle. How do you check for weld quality? By inspecting for smoothness, evenness, and checking for cracks or holes. What is the first step before starting any welding job? Planning and setting up the work area. What is the role of a welder's helper? A helper assists by preparing materials and managing tools. Why are good hand-eye coordination and steady hands important? To create smooth, accurate welds. What does it mean if a weld has good fusion? The metals have melted and joined together well without gaps. And what kind of jobs use welding skills? Jobs in construction, automotive, shipbuilding and manufacturing.